recruit steps onto yellow footprints painted on the pavement at Parris Island. Within 72 hours, his name will be gone. His hair will be shaved. He'll be forbidden from saying I or me. The single phone call home will be scripted, word for word, by the institution. Boot camp is 13 weeks, but the first 3 days are designed to erase the civilian. This isn't training. It's a systematic deconstruction. Beyond the dress blues and the Semper Fidelis motto lies a world engineered around deprivation, control, and permanent deficit.
It's currently 5 a.m.
Sleep becomes a weapon. Time becomes the inventory the institution owns. Your body learns to operate in the red, and the cost accumulates long after you've earned the title. This is the dark truth about life as a U.S. Marine.
It's real simple.
The yellow footprints at Marine Corps Recruit Depot mark the start of receiving, a 72-hour process of clinical identity erasure. Recruits are immediately subjected to high-decibel verbal commands, a barrage designed to induce sensory overload and immediate compliance. Drill instructors shout continuously. There is no pause, no explanation, no transition from civilian to recruit, just noise and panic. All personal belongings are confiscated. Phones, wallets, jewelry, and anything that connects a recruit to their former life disappear into a bag. Hair is shaved, not for hygiene, but to eliminate visual individuality. Recruits are issued identical uniforms, identical gear, and even identical eyeglasses if needed. Standing in formation, they become indistinguishable.
They live in such a tough world that they have to cloak their idealism in a shell.
Then comes the language shift. Recruits are forbidden from using first-person pronouns. I and me are erased. Instead, they must refer to themselves as this recruit. Every sentence reinforces the same message. Your individual identity no longer exists. You are an object in a collective. The one phone call home isn't a moment of comfort. It's a scripted, monitored event. Recruits are handed a piece of paper with exact wording. I have arrived safely at MCRD Parris Island. I will not be able to receive phone calls. I will write in 7 to 10 days. Please do not send any food or candy. The call lasts less than a minute. It severs the primary support network and demonstrates total institutional control. Even communication with family is no longer theirs to manage. By the end of receiving, the civilian is gone. What remains is a blank slate, ready to be rebuilt according to the institution's design. Boot camp operates on a system called incentive training, or IT. The official term is sterile. The reality is immediate physical punishment for any mistake, no matter how minor. A dropped pen, a wrinkled shirt, a moment of hesitation, any infraction triggers an on-the-spot consequence. The recruit is ordered to perform grueling exercises, push-ups, burpees, running in place while screaming the Marine Corps hymn. The session ends only when the drill instructor is satisfied. IT creates a zero-defect environment. There is no margin for error, no forgiveness, no good enough. A recruit is never safe. One loose thread on a uniform, one speck of dust on a rifle, 1 second of eye contact can result in punishment. The constant threat generates a state of hypervigilance that is psychologically exhausting to maintain. The system is perfected through collective punishment. If one recruit fails, the entire platoon is often punished together. This weaponizes peer pressure. The group turns on the individual. Recruits learn to self-police, to isolate the weak link, to ensure no one drags the rest down. The lesson is clear. Your failure is not your own. It damages everyone around you. The individual ceases to matter except as a potential liability to the collective. By the end of boot camp, recruits operate in a constant state of manufactured panic, scanning every detail, anticipating every mistake before it happens. Sleep is the primary tool of psychological reprogramming. A fully rested mind can resist indoctrination. A fragmented, exhausted mind cannot. Recruits are officially scheduled for 8 hours of sleep per night. They rarely receive it. The primary mechanism of deprivation is firewatch, a mandatory 1-hour shift every recruit must perform each night. Ostensibly for guarding the barracks, firewatch serves a dual purpose. It fragments REM sleep cycles. No recruit sleeps more than a few consecutive hours for the entire 13-week period. This sustained deprivation lowers cognitive function, heightens emotional volatility, and makes recruits more susceptible to commands. It induces a mental fog where the only clarity comes from the black and white rules delivered by drill instructors. Exhaustion becomes the baseline operating state. The final test is the crucible, 54 hours of controlled deprivation designed to simulate combat's worst elements. Recruits march over 45 miles, complete 29 problem-solving exercises, and receive fewer than 8 hours of total sleep across the entire event. Most get 4 hours broken into fragments. They are given 3 MRES meals ready to eat to sustain them for 54 hours. Each MRE contains approximately 1,250 calories. A recruit burns over 4,000 calories per day during the crucible. The math is simple. They operate in a massive caloric deficit, forcing the body to run on will alone. By the end, recruits are hallucinating from exhaustion. They can barely stand, but they complete the final march. And at the top of a hill, drill instructors award them the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. The emotion is overwhelming, not because the test was hard, but because the systematic psychological torture is finally over. The individual has been erased. The Marine remains. The acute panic of boot camp is replaced in the fleet with a different kind of stress: chronic, low intensity, corrosive. The phrase "hurry up and wait" defines daily life. It's not a joke. It's a cycle of temporal desynchrony that destroys a Marine's relationship with time itself. A typical morning, you're told to be at formation at 0500, full gear, ready to move. You wake in a panic, skip breakfast, throw on your uniform, and sprint to the designated location. Then you stand for 2 hours, sometimes 4, waiting for orders that never come or come hours late or get changed entirely. This cycle, panic preparation followed by crushing boredom, followed by more panic, makes it impossible to relax or use time productively. You can't plan. You can't rest. You exist in a state of anxious waiting, always ready for the next command, never able to settle. The psychological cost is significant. Time becomes a resource you don't control. Your hours are the inventory the institution owns and wastes at will. This chronic low-level stressor compounds other problems: family issues, financial worries, and personal health. The inability to manage your own time creates a sense of helplessness that permeates every aspect of life in the fleet. Field operations are where Marines practice war. The training lasts weeks. The overwhelming reality is filth. There are no showers, no running water. The primary hygiene tool is baby wipes. Marines use them to clean their face, armpits, and groin. This is the only bath they get for weeks. The smell is a combination of sweat, camouflage paint, carbon residue from weapons, and dampness. It becomes part of the environment, something you stop noticing because there's no escape from it. Your skin develops a tacky film. Dirt works into the creases of your neck, behind your ears, under your fingernails. You stop feeling clean. The concept loses meaning entirely. Sanitation involves digging a cat hole, a small pit dug with an entrenching tool, and burying waste. If positioned in a defensive hide site where movement might give away your location, Marines defecate into plastic bags and carry their own waste with them. The bags go into the rucksack, sealed but present, a constant reminder of the baseline degradation. Sleep is taken in 1 to 2 hour shifts, in fighting holes, on the ground, in vehicle beds. You're never truly asleep. You're in a state of low-level alertness, listening for radio chatter or the command to move. Food is MRES. Each packet contains 1,250 calories. A Marine in the field burns over 4,000 calories daily. The deficit is constant. MRES are calorically dense but heavily preserved and extremely low in moisture. The result is severe, painful constipation. The food is engineered to reduce waste output in the field, but the biological cost is days without a bowel movement, followed by episodes so painful they require Marines to brace themselves. It's a known, accepted consequence of extended field operations. Each MRE includes a flameless ration heater, a chemical reaction pouch that warms the main entree, but using it creates a distinct smell that can compromise a position. The chemical odor carries in the air, detectable at a distance. Most meals are eaten cold, straight from the pouch, in darkness. You learn to identify the contents by texture and taste alone. Then you return to the barracks. Your room is subject to inspection at any time. A non-commissioned officer will use a white glove to check for dust on the top of your wall locker. They'll inspect the fold of your pillow, the accuracy of your door card, and the presence of a trash liner. The scrutiny is microscopic. A 2023 Government Accountability Office report confirmed what Marines already knew. Thousands live in substandard barracks, mold growth on walls and ceilings, broken windows that won't seal, inoperable fire suppression systems, pest infestations, roaches, mice, sometimes worse. In 2024, the Marine Corps was forced to order wall-to-wall inspections of all 60,000 barracks rooms to address widespread health and safety violations that had been ignored for years. The paradox is complete. You live in squalor while being inspected for perfection. The institution demands zero-defect standards from Marines while providing them with facilities that fail basic safety codes. There is no privacy, no sanctuary, and no home, even on base. Your personal space is both neglected and scrutinized, a psychological trap with no escape. Over 95% of military injuries are not combat wounds. They are musculoskeletal injuries from cumulative microtrauma, overuse, repetitive strain, damage that accumulates over time without a dramatic cause. The forced march, or hump, is the primary source. Marines carry rucksacks weighing 60 to 100 pounds or more, marching for dozens of miles. The load distribution is brutal. Weight presses down on the shoulders, compressing the spine with every step. Hips absorb lateral torque. Knees take repetitive impact, thousands of steps under load that grind cartilage against bone. This isn't a single catastrophic injury, it's erosion. Knees don't explode, they degrade incrementally. Cartilage thins. Meniscus tears develop from repeated compression, joints swell after every hump, and the inflammation never fully resolves before the next march. Ankles roll under the shifting weight, stretching ligaments that never return to their original tension. They become loose, unstable, and prone to rolling again. Lower backs endure constant compression. The rucksack's weight forces the spine into unnatural curvature. Discs, gel-filled cushions between vertebrae, compress and bulge. Over months and years, they herniate, pressing on nerves and creating chronic pain that radiates down the legs. The culture demands Marines push through pain. The mantra is, pain is weakness leaving the body. Minor injuries are treated as character flaws. A twisted ankle doesn't get rest. It gets taped and you continue the hump. A sore knee doesn't get evaluated. You take ibuprofen and keep moving. The institution provides no time for recovery because recovery is seen as weakness. So, minor injuries compound. A small meniscus tear becomes a full rupture. A strained ligament becomes permanently unstable. A compressed disc becomes a degenerative disease. By the end of a 4-year infantry contract, the hardness Marines have built is often just scar tissue covering systemic breakdown. The body keeps a ledger. The institution borrows resilience with no intention of repaying it. Marines leave service with knees that won't fully extend, ankles that can't support a jog, and lower backs that seize up after sitting too long. The cost is deferred during service, but it comes due in civilian life. Decades of chronic pain, limited mobility, and a body that aged 20 years in 4. The Marine Corps trains resilience, but creates a culture where seeking help means the end of a career. 2 types of stigma prevent Marines from accessing mental health care, and both are institutional by design. Public stigma is the fear of how leadership will react. Marines believe, often correctly, that seeking psychological help will mark them as weak, prevent them from deploying, or get them ostracized from their unit. The chain of command holds total power over a Marine's career. Promotions, assignments, and opportunities flow through immediate superiors. If an NCO or officer believes a Marine is broken, that perception can end advancement permanently. Deployment is a critical marker of career success. Being pulled from a deployment roster for mental health reasons is seen as a failure, both by leadership and peers. Marines fear that a single counseling session will result in being non-deployable, effectively sidelining them while their unit goes forward. The social cost is isolation. Being left behind while your peers deploy creates a permanent separation, a sense of having failed the collective. Self-stigma is worse. It's when Marines internalize the belief that struggling means they are fundamentally broken. The institution's ethos is relentless. Suck it up and drive on. Pain is weakness leaving the body. Adapt and overcome. If you can't handle the stress, the implicit message is clear. You don't belong. You're not a real Marine. This internalization is insidious. Marines who experience anxiety, depression, or post-traumatic stress begin to see themselves as defective. They believe they should be able to handle it, that their struggles are personal failures rather than normal human responses to extreme conditions. Asking for help becomes an admission of weakness they can't reconcile with their identity. Research shows that destructive leadership styles directly correlate with higher rates of self-stigma and refusal to seek care. Leaders who belittle struggling Marines, who mock mental health as soft, who treat therapy as a career-ending admission, create environments where Marines would rather suffer in silence than face humiliation. Because the command structure is absolute, a Marine's mental health is often held hostage by the personality and beliefs of their immediate superior. The result is a population overtrained for stress, but underprepared to process its effects. Marines suppress trauma because the institution taught them that suppression is strength. They turn to alcohol because drinking with peers is acceptable, while therapy is not. They carry the weight alone because asking for help violates the core identity the institution has built. The rates of post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, substance abuse, and veteran mortality reflect this institutional failure. Not a failure of individual Marines, but a failure of the system that conditioned them to see psychological wounds as moral failures. The stigma isn't accidental. It's structural, embedded in the culture that values toughness above health and silence above healing. The Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, MCMAP, is not a self-defense class. It's a system designed to instill a warrior ethos, to make Marines comfortable with violence, both receiving it and inflicting it. Training involves pain compliance holds, joint locks and pressure points that cause immediate, intense pain to force submission. Full contact sparring is mandatory. Marines take hits, learn to absorb impact, and deliver strikes with full force. The conditioning is brutal. Thousands of repetitions, muscle memory drills that make violence a reflex rather than a decision. The goal is to remove hesitation. In combat, the Marine who hesitates dies. MCMAP trains aggression as the default response, scanning for threats as a constant background process, readiness for engagement as the baseline state. This mindset keeps Marines alive in war zones, but it doesn't turn off when they leave the service. The always-on mentality becomes permanent. Marines scan rooms automatically, evaluating exits and potential threats. They assess strangers as combatants or non-combatants. Crowded spaces trigger hypervigilance. Loud noises provoke startle responses disproportionate to the cause. This hypervigilance is exhausting in civilian life. Relationships suffer because the emotional regulation required for intimacy has been systematically trained out. The institution built a switch for violence and aggression, calibrated it to be always ready, and never taught Marines how to turn it off. The warrior ethos that made them effective in the fleet becomes a malfunction in the civilian world, a constant low-level aggression, an inability to relax, a sense that peace is just the interval between conflicts. The cost of the title isn't paid once. It compounds. The knees that gave out, the back that won't straighten, the sleep that never fully returns, the aggression that won't settle. These are the hidden terms of the contract. You earned the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, but the institution kept a piece of you as collateral, and it never gives it back. The Marine Corps doesn't break people. It rebuilds them with precision, using systems engineered over decades to deconstruct the individual and install the collective. The yellow footprints are the beginning of a process that rewires language, fragments sleep, weaponizes time, and borrows resilience from the body without repaying it. The dark truth is not that the institution is malicious. It's that the cost is permanent, and it's paid in pieces that most people never see. The civilian dies in 72 hours. The Marine is forged over 13 weeks, and the effects accumulate over a lifetime. Chronic pain, suppressed trauma, hypervigilance that won't turn off. These men and women endure impossible conditions because the system is designed to make endurance the only option. They carry weight that destroys joints, operate in caloric deficits that burn muscle, and live under scrutiny in facilities that fail basic safety standards. They do it because the institution rebuilt them to believe their pain doesn't matter, only the mission does. That belief is what makes them Marines. It's also what makes the cost so high.